listening to Co-op Radio 100.5 FM and coopradio.org. It's 5 o'clock, and it's Metis Matters Radio time!
Listen to us anywhere you travel. You can go into your Google Play Store and then download the Radio Player Canada app, and you can listen to your favorite radio station, Co-op Radio CFRO 100.5 FM.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Metis Matters Radio. How you guys all doing? Nice to see you all this evening. Yes, we are here. Metis Matters Radio. We're here on YouTube as well. This evening I got a few more days until I get my Facebook Live back too. So yeah, we're looking forward to having that taken care of. But I got some really cool ideas. You know, there's even though I'm getting YouTube and getting used to using YouTube as well, I'm actually trying to combine both at the same time. So good. I'm actually let's put it this way. Mark, my good friend in the chat room. Thank you, John, for joining me, Mark, and everybody else in the chat room. Mark's in the chat room. You're in YouTube, and he says they have a Metis Matters show running on Co-op Radio. I'm guessing they're a week behind. It's me. I'm a week behind. One day we're going to actually be able to go live on location one of those days when this whole COVID thing is over. I can't make too much about it yet or say too much about it until this whole thing is done. I'm looking forward to seeing, come on, guys. We're getting bored. I want to get out of my house. I want to get to this radio station. I want to talk about Metis Matters and radio station, because the acoustics are better. And I miss Mark being in the studio. So, hey, what can I say? But I also got another friend that I've known for a long time. I actually was a friend of mine on Facebook, and this man here, I love it when we have great debates about who's Métis, what's Métis, what it represents, whether it's our Métis history, our flags. There's so much, and you know, I've known a lot of people that are actually great Métis historians. You know, and you know, we have George and Terry Goulet, we got David Doyle. You know, we've got some really good people. But I also have another friend that does his research, and his name is Albert Greenough. And Greenough actually is also living out in, I think it's possibly Alberta. Looks like an Alberta number. And this man has got a lot of history in his family too. So Albert knows quite a bit because he does his research in books. Okay, so he goes into deep research. We want to talk about many different varieties of history books. And so, you know, Albert, he's a person that anytime I do something, if I show a picture of a blue Métis flag on my Facebook page, oh my God, Albert comes in there, boom, da 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 da, and I'm going like, man, I love you, man. You're so cool. You know, I'm glad you're putting stuff in there. And then even though Albert says a few words, but you know what? I'm going to bring him in. Albert, are you there, my friend?
That I am.
Nice to hear you on. And yeah, you and I have a lot to talk about. But before we get into the real history part, let's talk about you. And let's talk about where your family is from and what made you decide to get so involved in our Métis history.
Okay, let's see. My mom ran Zone 6 in Alberta, like Peace River, from about 1980 to about 1996. I majored in Native Studies. My grandfather fought in both wars. He was a half-breed. Well, I got lots of reasons why.
It sounds like you do. That's a lot of reasons why. So did you know much about your Métis history or Métis, I'd say your own history as a kid growing up? Did you follow the traditions, or were you just more of just being a kid?
No, I didn't really get into my Métis history till in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
Like long history here and there, but I knew we were part Indian. Like the word Métis and stuff like that didn't really come out. Like and even how that history, like that word never really come out until after Riel's death. Like,
yeah.
We've been like, even the term, we're like, now they're saying half-breed is so detrimental, so derogatory, so racist, so, but yet, it was the half-breed that got Manitoba signed into the Confederation, like.
Yeah. So let's put it this way. I mean, how do we ever label ourselves as the name half-breeds? I mean, even though some people call it derogatory, some people say they take great pride, call themselves half-breed. I've always called myself a half-breed when I was a kid because I'm in my 60s. Okay,
so
I'm in my senior years, but I never took offense of being a half-breed because I thought it was because I've heard it so much as a kid growing up, and thought, you know what, I'll take it. It's mine. I own it. You know. But yet there's people out there, they'll say, oh, it's offensive. You shouldn't be allowing that to call yourself this because the white man called you the half-breed. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, but if you argue it with over to people and tell them you shouldn't be saying this, let's all be, correct, politically correct all the time, it's going to be, I don't mind correcting people once in a while, but there's different way you say it, like I'm proud to be a half-breed, not saying, oh, you're a half-breed. It's like, there's a difference. This is how you present it. It's almost like when African-American people call themselves the N-word, but they can say it amongst each other, but they can't, no one else can use that word with them because again, it's derogatory, racist.
But
what are your thoughts?
What we should do is, you should get the minutes from the Native Council of Canada. They call them NCC.
Yeah.
Their minutes in 71 when they adopted the Blues, they didn't want the half-breed or the Metis, like we were called. They only wanted the burnt wood. Those guys guys way back then, they segregated our people, and the derogatory terms and stuff, that was from them.
Okay.
Like even in Selkirk, like how he says, for the first time, Selkirk was distinguishing between Indians and mixed blood.
Mm-hmm.
Although by this point, the mixed blood themselves were distinguished between the two peoples. Like the French only seen an opportunity to get back at England, and they twisted our history. The Bella Batoche is bullshit.
Yeah.
Cuthbert, Peter Fiddler's Journal of June 1st, 1816, bullshit.
Okay.
You can look. You look under. It's under Peel, 115, page 140.
Yeah.
Then you go to Cuthbert Grant, leader Grant of Crantown, leader of the Plains, page 32. It said that they were the president from the company, Northwest Company. Then you go to Penguin and Pemmican Empire, food trade and the last ice and hunt, the North American Plains, and it proves that they were flying the red flag, not the blue one, when they did Brandon House.
Yeah.
That stuff, they did, like, and you look into history, they erased everything except that one book.
Do you remember, I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but there's a TV series that came on, I would say almost a year ago, and it was all to do with, like, it was a series. It was like a documentary movie. It was a weekly series. And I remember from the very beginning when they showed that, it's based in Canada, and they showed the beginning of all, the history of the trading industry, and they showed the red Métis flag back in the 1600s. And yet,
1600?
Yeah, in the year 1650, they showed the trading industry, but they showed the red Métis flag flying
with the infinity.
With the infinity, they never used the blue one. There was no blue flag flying there. I'm thinking now, wait a minute here. The red Métis flag back in 1650, I don't think it even was made back then. Why all of a sudden now it's there?
No, but you got to remember also the French, like back in France themselves, they slaughtered each other so that there would be one language. They knew all they had to do was publish lots of different documents.
Yeah.
And it's like throwing wood into the fire. And they suckered our people so good that they even believed themselves. Like that one Rosette, I think his name was.
Yeah.
They made it called a Métis flag. They said he believed that the blue flag flew all over Rupert's Land. It never did. The blue flag never flew until after the merger.
I know, and yet they're saying the red flag flew over in the eastern coast.
No.
How could it have flown in the eastern coast back in 1650? There's no way.
No, but even the French people, they call it burnt wood. I know at first they call it French Indians.
Yeah.
Like they did not like the breeds, whatever. I don't even know what to call ourselves today. But the reason they grasped on it because they seen a chance to play with our history and try saying that the only Métis is a French Métis. Like they had our people whitewashed real good.
Yeah.
And I put the names right. Even he's still alive. He's got his own radio station. He was president at the time, Belcourt.
Yeah. Well, I remember. I remember hearing the name burnt wood, but I never heard of it being burnt wood as in the East Coast. I remember hearing the burnt wood in the Red River.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was BOIS.
Yeah.
Roots, like
you know,
but you can tell that even back then they went back and they altered even the books because they go here the half breeds or both brutes as they now wanted to be called. They wanted to be called burnt wood.
Yeah.
And then at first they even tried saying it was the Scottish that put that blue flag out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The Scottish spent all this time playing with our history. It's real. But did you even read the book of?
Hey, no, there's a German woman who has I think she's German. She's European. Her husband is a Moran, And so she's trusting what she was told by by the Morin family. No disrespect to her, but she's believing that the Scots were the ones that helped change the flag, the blue flag, into the Me Infinity. And going like, no, sorry, I didn't believe that, because I was told myself personally, as a kid growing up, I was told that Louis Riel helped create the flag because of the infinity, because of the marriage. You know what I mean? Like they said, again, I know you're saying that, my friend, but I was taught this in school, that Louis Riel, as a practicing Catholic priest, was standing next to another priest at a wedding, and he was a witness there, supposed to be a witness, and that he watched a priest give them some sort of an identity, because they could not give them an identity because they're Métis, they're not European, they're not Hungarian, they're not da-da-da-da. So, or they basically, sure, they could be Catholic, but they had to give them some sort of an identity of who they were. They didn't. The word Métis never existed, so they put an infinity next to the couple. And apparently supposed to be where Riel said, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the flag with an infinity on it."
No, but the first flag Riel flew was the Scottish, Irish.
That's right. He did fly the Irish flag.
He'd be nothing if it wasn't for the Koreans, like the Irish people that he ran into from New York. Like, his dad died in '64. He didn't get back till '69. He walks in, he gets that blue flag was developed when they merged Northwest Company and Hudson Bay, and it was used to symbolize the French language. So, like, that it was when Cuthbert didn't go to work for them until in 1823 or something. Like,
yeah,
something like that. That's when he took the red flag, and that's about, like, it was after 1821 that the blue flag came out, because the Northwest Company was bigger, but they kept the Hudson Bay Company name because they were more known. Like, the shares were more bigger for the Northwest Company.
Yeah.
But the Hudson Bay Company just kept, like, that it's like, you look through history, why did the French do it? Like, they erased everything except, but even the MNC, like, what's her name, Audrey Potts, she was involved even with bringing the fake Bella Batoche to Alberta. Like, that's even been, like, even Chartrand, like the president of the MMF, he was even there when they acknowledged it, but they stuffed it under the table and tried to get everybody to forget about it.
Well, the crazy part of it is that, for example, we'll talk about Belle Batoche. That is, like, I remember hearing the story that this young man had it for about 20 years in his basement, that he stole it from a Legion, in Winnipeg. Basically because he's Métis himself, so that's why he took it. Came in through the back door, went into the cabinet, took the bell out, and then had it in his base for about 20 years, and he decided to bring it up to the surface and say, you know what, I've got the Belle Batoche. I remember Father Guy Lavallee telling me all this, because he was there as witness to basically bless the bell when they decided to bring it back to Batoche. And there was another priest there, I think it was an Anglican priest besides Catholic priest. There was two of them there, and they're supposed to have raised the bell. But now I'm hearing the story that the bell never got raised, that it ended up back in the hands of the Alberta Métis, and that they got the Belle Batoche.
No, but if you go through his, actually, that's the Belle of Frog Lake. Like, it was all proven, like, through the churches and everything, and then again, it got slapped under the table.
Yeah.
They didn't want the truth to be known. Like, the real Belle Batoche, like, their church got tore down or something, and that bell got lent out to another church, and it got burnt. That church got burnt. Even the bell burned down. Like, it's all documented.
But according to other people saying that the church never got burnt down, that the church is still there, and that the bell got stolen, and apparently the military police, which was the RCMP at the time, took the bell themselves, and to them that was considered a conquering quest.
No, but that's all been proven. Like, the MNC knows that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all documented, but they fluffed all that under the table. You see that they only want the Michif language acknowledged. And there was more than just the Michif with Bungie, and even the Michif has got parts English in it. But the French wanted just theirs. Like they bastardized our culture, our history, our heritage so badly, just to get their image known.
Well, Albert, I know there was not just a Michif language. There was also the French language. They actually, a lot of the Métis were speaking French. And also, my mom taught me the Chinook language. Actually, was the trading language that the Métis also used as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's most of the tribes across Canada as well as the U.S. would use the Chinook trading language because everyone understood the Chinook trading language.
What is this? I've never ever heard of that. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they use the Chinook trading language, and for example, a word Klahowia, and that's a Chinook language, trading language. Klahowia means welcome. Klahowia.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and there's also my mother used the word. It was meant self-determination. Oh my God, I'm trying to think now the word. I'll think about it later on down the word. But it means she meant like she was determined. And tuxus, the Chinook language, she would say tuxus, and it sounds like taxes, but it's tuxus. And that was a Chinook language for the self-determination, like I'm determined, I'm going to get this done. I'm tuxus. And
it sounds so close to a Cree word, it doesn't sound that good. But anyway,
yeah, exactly. So the thing is that and then you got your dialects of your Cree. There's so many different dialects of people say.
There's supposed to be only 7 of that. No, but and then technically you say every reserve has got its own dialect.
Exactly.
I mean, why did our leaders keep proceeding to whitewash our history?
Well, I think but if you think about it, let's talk about the Canadian history books. I remember when I was a kid, back in the 60s in school. Americans. Yeah, we when he went to a school, like say I'm originally from Manitoba, so our class. I mean, I would say what year is that? 1960, 66. Say 1964, 65. Okay. In school, and they says, and there's different Canadian historical chapters, and they went into Louis Riel. There's only 3 lines on Louis Riel, 3 lines. What was it? Nothing. The rest was a blank page, and the 3 lines said Louis Riel was a trader of Canada. And I asked the teacher, what did Louis Riel do? Oh, it's not important. She says, go to the next chapter. No, I'm curious now. What did he do wrong? No, it's not important, she says. He was a trader of Canada. No, I like to know, what did he do wrong?
Okay, because on that, okay, Ria, but he was an American citizen at that time when he could come back.
Yeah.
You know that. And even though they whitewashed a lot of that, he didn't come back really for help. He come back believing that he was going to get, the government owed him. Anything the French people wrote about our history and Riel, you gotta damn near take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Because he lived in the States for 10 years?
In 71, even when he was in exile, they said he wanted seats in the House of Commons. When you're in exile, how do you win seats? And they whitewashed us to believe so much. Like I say, half the story says that he's half insane, and the other half that he was pro-francophone. He gave a little bit of he got the Métis some land. He didn't get the Métis culture. He didn't get no indigenous cultures acknowledged. He got hung because they didn't want French across Canada.
I think that's what it is. I think it's something to do with the French.
But the French didn't see that. I know, but that's why he got French into that stamp province.
Yeah.
He got the glory of it, but he got back in 69. May 12th, 1870 is when the province got acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
He got the gravy train, but because back then it was only the French people that really wrote things and documented things. They're smart, but it's a sad that they got to do. But it just makes me so mad that our own people, still to this day, acknowledge, like, deny our real true history for what? What do they really get out of it? Are the French really? It's just lovely day. I don't hate the French. I'm not French myself, but it's just that they rewrote our and we allowed it.
Yeah.
Even like in BC, like they cut the flag half and half. Like if they really understood, they're pissing on our heritage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like these people don't realize that flag is part of our foundation. Like when it was given to us,
yeah,
that gave us nation, gave us recognition.
Yeah.
But back then we were only half-breeds, métis, and burnt wood. They weren't making it, even though the French had went back and rewrote a lot of different history. They even were calling Cuthbert Grant a Métis in books now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Yeah.
sad that just because they changed their name, they think they're going to change our color? Nah.
We're going to take a break. Albert, hang on to that thought, my friend. We got more to talk about. And folks, you're watching and listening to Metis Matters Radio. I'm your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud. My guest is Albert Greenough. We'll be right back, folks.
Vancouver Cooperative Radio is an innovative, non-profit community radio station with a mission to produce creative and engaging programming for communities whose voices are underrepresented in the mainstream media. We need your financial support to help us achieve this mission. By donating today, you will help us to continue providing access to training and equipment for over 300 volunteers who produce 140 hours of original programming in over 10 languages. Since 1975, we've celebrated the rich cultural diversity of the Greater Vancouver area through our arts, music, and spoken word programming. Please support alternative community-based radio. You can donate today by visiting coopradio.org or calling 604-684-8494. That's 604-684-8494.
Honey!
I really wanted a coffee.
Where are you? You've been there forever.
Come on. You know what? You think you're the boss.
But I'm the boss here. Derrick will be right back after he gets my coffee.
You know Juke. We're the reason the chicken crossed the road. Since 2016, we've been slinging the city's best Southern-inspired food, like our signature gluten-free fried chicken, sweet and sticky ribs, and mouth-watering snacks, salads, and sides. But the club doesn't stop there. We've also hatched a contact-free cocktail bar and snack lounge in our new Chickadee room at Juke, which offers handcrafted cocktails, Juke's great menu, plenty of neon, and an 80s-inspired playlist serving late-night food and drinks 6 days a week. 182 Kiefer Street. Get pickup and delivery through jukefriedchicken.com. That's jukefriedchicken.com.
Question authority, demand accountability. The job of the journalist is more important than ever. Democracy depends on a free press, and reliable, trustworthy reporting is at a premium. Speaking up for those who have long been silenced is what journalists do every day. At Langara, journalism students hit the ground running, reporting on issues in their communities right away, wherever they are around the world. This fall semester, instructions will be entirely online. That means students will be reporting on the issues that matter in the communities where they live. Wherever you are, whatever your beliefs, journalism has always been telling the stories that demand to be heard. We welcome your voice in the chorus for a change. Langara.ca/journalism.
We're back, folks. And you're listening to Metis Matters Radio on the CFRO 100.5 FM here in beautiful downtown Vancouver, but I'm actually in my studio at home until this whole COVID thing is over. Damn COVID. Blame it. Anyways, we're here, and my guest tonight is Albert Greenough. We like to talk about all kinds of history regarding the Métis, and it's important. I find it's important because, so many people get misinterpretations of so many things that have happened in our Métis community all across Canada and probably across the world, the land itself. And you always hear so many stories. In fact, even the people that are tourists or people that are actually trying to get their Canadian citizenship, they're told to fill out the forms, and on one of the forms on the Canadian citizenship, it actually has a historical story in there, and it says Louis Riel is a traitor of Canada. And they want you to believe that as a new citizens of Canada, and they want you to believe it and to fill out the form. And if you don't check it off as saying that he is, then you don't get into Canada. They're saying, oh, you're wrong. So, we've been trying so hard to have Louis Riel exonerated, and I'm going to ask Albert this too in a few minutes, and what his thoughts are on this as well, because I think it's important that we all need to have Mr. Riel exonerated, because the people have actually said, even the people in Montreal after or just before Riel was supposed to be executed, even the people in Montreal that were supposed to be Métis up there were upset the fact that he was actually being sentenced to be hung. They didn't expect it to happen because Riel, as far as I'm concerned, Riel was innocent. There was a law, an old British law that they used from the 1300s that basically says that Riel was crazy, and if he didn't follow that rule, so to speak. Now, if the law didn't happen, Riel would have had some say in the matter, but they called him crazy. So apparently, according to the British law, we're under British Common Crown, that you're not allowed to speak up for yourself. So basically, they call him crazy, and they order him to be executed. So we're back, and Albert, what do you think of all what we were discussing? What do you think of the idea that when Riel, he was trying, even the people in Montreal supposedly were trying to speak up for Riel, and nothing was heard by MacDonald? What are your thoughts on that?
Like I told you earlier, Derek, like the French Quebec, the French Métis at the time, they did not. There was no really eruption from that until after his death.
Yeah.
And besides Riel, in 1883, he signed allegiance. He gave up all his allegiance to Canada when he took that natural, he became an American citizen.
So they executed an American citizen.
If you that's right. That's why there was a big stink up about it, because he was an American citizen.
Oh.
But then
Think about it, folks. If Canada executed an American citizen, that means the United States can actually go after Canada.
No, but the states had something to do in that judgment. There was communications between them, and like I said, it was the French in New York, around New York, that put up more of a stink about Riel's thing.
Uh-huh.
Not the Quebec. The Quebec, those guys, to them, it seemed like Breeds Indians were nobodies.
Yeah.
Until they realized, oh, here's our opportunity. Now we can put our roots back here. They wanted vengeance so bad against signing Canada back to England.
Yeah.
It's there, but they've done such a great job of. You can't access nothing now, and even all the books and stuff. They're burning, wrecking, tearing. Our history is going to keep repeating. We keep doing the same thing. It's too gullible.
Have you ever thought of writing the book and spell check the history?
Like I told you, I gave you 3 books. If you want to disagree with me, they're there. The proof is there.
Yeah. But have you taken those books yourself? Are those your books or somebody else's books?
No, they're not mine. Those are.
Okay.
Have you
ever decided, have you ever thought of yourself personally decided to write your own book
No.
to help correct the
Yeah,
history.
This Métis stuff it's so disappointing that how we've been whitewashed that I gave up on this one, but my granddaughter gave me some pride back again that no, that all I want is my flag back, then I'll bow out.
I would
They're not
strongly feel, my friend, that you need to write a book or two regarding this before you leave this world.
No, I'm not leaving this world in that context, but like, you see, if you really, really look at our people, like, unfortunately, our people are very prejudiced.
Yes.
And see, like, my color does not coincide so great. But since my mother was so known, and then I got known through the system, I was recognized, accepted. But, you know, so many wannabes, I guess you used to phrase it. No, like, it's sad. Like, there's nothing about unity with our, like, you know, look at BC, their own flag.
Yeah.
Now every province wants their own constitution. Everybody wants to be so self-centered. Bad term, but they all got whitewashed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know it got whitewashed because, I mean, if you look at my grandmother, you would know very well she's absolutely dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
No,
when it gets down to my mom,
like whitewash like that.
You know?
I mean, whitewash is we at one time there used to be an us. Now everything is me, myself. Like our,
yeah,
we're not a unit. We're not a nation. Like, we're so scattered right now that, and all they're doing is the government is throwing pennies into the pot and is enjoying it.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw something at you, my friend. How about this? How about the MMF and MNC are separating other Métis from Ontario as well as the upper part of region of Canada? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? Do you think that?
No. But that's what I told you. Like, it was so funny. The MNC, the National Council of Canada, they stole the French symbol, and now they're telling you there's no Métis over there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's so not, but we allowed it. Even when they wrote it in the book, they said it came from a Frenchman in Quebec in a newspaper. Like, and the people that wrote the publisher, McLean, they must have had some kind of French dominance over that for some reason.
Yeah.
We're bullshit. I don't mean to sound like I hate it, but our people, whatever they tell us, we accept.
Uh-huh.
Like, a long time ago, the Métis, like in Alberta, we used to have locals. We used to have our assemblies. We used to get thousands of people. Now we got it down to 100 because they just a select few get to decide really what they're going to ram down what the government wants that they're giving to us. We're not people oriented. Like, Sunnis oriented is what they are.
But isn't it normal for all of them, like a lot of the Métis as well as First Nations, you know, they get tired of the same repeat story, that they get frustrated and they just walk away, and then you wonder why nobody's fighting back, and then they, whoever makes the decision to make it what they want, those group of people that what they want, then they get away with it, and then they'll say, okay, this is the rules, this is what the Métis did, and we're going to go this direction. Well, I think that's wrong, because number one, we never walked away, but there have been people that are doing it behind our backs to change the history too.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, but we got to go back to like when Sam Sinclair and them had it. They used to fund our people to come to these meetings.
Yes.
So we really hear the voice of the people. Now all we hear is some dickheads. I mean, some people mouth off. Like it's so sad. And they get told what to ask. Like, it's really dictatorship right to the T.
It is, yeah.
And our people do not. They most of them they gave up. Like, there's a new group coming in, like back then, but they call them wannabes. But there's a lot of people didn't know their ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of people had to hide it to get a job. Like, our history was really shabby. Like,
yeah. Let's put this way also too. Like, let's talk about Cuthbert Grant. Okay. I mean, back in 1821, I mean, when he was, I would say he was more involved with this as well, not just a small little story and say, okay, he did this and he did that. What are your thoughts on his work?
He goes back further than that. It was in 1815 when he signed the first treaty with Hudson Bay, June 25th, like.
Yeah.
And even through his book, like if the one about it, cut the ground from Grantham, all the way through, they kept telling you how they had celebration with the red flag, right to the red flag, right to March 12th. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, like back in them days, June was like spring. Like the documents, like it's just so sad, but
because I mean, didn't it was actually Cuthbert Grant that had the red flag. It was not the blue flag.
That's right. Cuthbert Grant never flew the blue flag.
No, but they're saying that he did.
No, he didn't.
You know, and I'm going like, no.
They're saying that at the Brandon House. That's why I told you if you could read that book on Pemberton Empire, it'll tell you they were flying the flag that their company had given. The head office was in Montreal. The head office in Montreal was the Northwest Company. Yeah. The Northwest Company gave the red flag. There's nothing about him giving the blue flag except that one from Peter Fiddler's journal.
Yeah.
And if you even look at that at the top of the page, you can see how the 6 up there is altered. And it was so funny how they got the skin back. But back then, the French were a little smarter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all those Hudson Bay papers and stuff, they got transferred to England or something in 1943, I think it was.
42?
Or something like that. But yet, in my studies, I found they're supposed to, all the Hudson Bay records are supposed to be in this one bookstore, I found.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back there one day to see if I can find where, because it would have been the Hudson Bay Company that gave the blue flag.
Yeah. I've got a book given, or a manuscript given to me by a family that knows Cuthbert Grant personally. Where's my book? I put it somewhere up here. Yeah, documentation, and it has. Oh man, talk about history! I got this. All of my upper shelf above me in my studio is all my Métis history books.
No, that'd be awesome.
And even the Métis Outpost itself, written, that in itself is something that. But I mean, where is that document? I'll bring it down next time. I should have brought it down earlier, but I thought. Let's see. Where to put it? Yeah, it's somewhere in there. It's a document. I'll have to find it, and then I'll maybe make some copies and send them to you. But this guy himself actually was part of the resistance. He also did talk and meet with many. Like he also met with Cuthbert Grant. These are his own words. Like he actually did what do you call it? My God, diary, like a diary, and he was in his travels. And I've got the documentation, I got photocopies of it. And there's no, I mean, I'm actually reading the parts that the guys in the cabin. He was actually in the fort, and he's having dinner with the guys, and it's cold outside. They're all supposed to get warm inside. There was a fireplace, but not everybody was warm enough. And then these guys, I mean, it was like typical lifestyle in winter. You know, like there was, I mean, he was describing what it was like. He's writing everything down in pencil, right?
Yes.
And then he was like, he says his tongue used to get black because all he ever did is dip his pencil in his mouth, and his tongue was always black, the tip of it.
Like he didn't die from lead poisoning.
No, he didn't. But his tongue, tip of his tongue was black. But I guess apparently his wife was Cree. No, sorry, not Cree. She was Mohawk. That was a Mohawk. No, Huron. She was Huron, and she didn't like his black tongue, so she actually made some sort of a concoction out of some of the fungus, and she got him to hold that in his mouth for about, I don't know, he said he thinks it was forever, not even 5 minutes. He couldn't stand the taste, but after he took it out of his mouth, the black was gone off his tongue.
No, but our people, they knew the plants. They knew everything.
Yeah, and he said he called it a fungus, some sort of a fungus. He didn't like it. It was bitter tasting, he said, but it got rid of the black off my tongue. Because they began to call him Black Tongue, you know.
No, but how they wrote about him, like they said that at first, he wasn't really into being made. That's where they used the word made, which shouldn't have been there. But he, how did he say, like in 1815 to even to the Battle of Seven Oaks, it's like he was always there. Like he held them. But even like when he died, it was so funny. 1854.
Yeah.
He fell off a horse. A horseman fell off a horse and died. And he I don't even think he was dead 2 weeks. And the French changed that name to Excalibur. They took the name Town and changed it to a French name. They named it after a priest.
Yeah. Well, don't they always if you're going to do any kind of baptismals or naming someone, you're not allowed to have your own native tongue name, so they give you a Christian name or they'll name you after the church.
No, but it was so funny. Even all these Métis that think they're French Métis, half them got the name because of the church.
Yeah.
But like our history, they don't know it. It's whatever. But it's so sad, but nobody cares that yet. Right now, and now with this COVID bullshit, it's even now all these out campaigning about this Constitution in Alberta. Like I said, if she's willing to, if she knows that the Belle Patoche is fake, she damn well knows the blue flag is fake. How in the hell are we supposed to trust her to negotiate our rights?
My best friend Dale Haggerty wrote a play about the missing Belle Patoche. We did a play in Alberta, and in one of the small towns. Is one of a good friend of ours was alive at the time. Dale's still with me in our lives, but a good friend of ours was putting on what was that? Oh my God! If Dale was on the phone, I know the town. Delia. The town was called Delia in Alberta. Delia. And that's actually where we had our Métis camp there. It's almost like Big Valley. Years ago, they used to put on big Métis events in Big Valley. And so you're there for the whole weekend, right? And so we did the same thing. We did one up in Delia, a small little town, little village. And we used one of the churches. We used a church, not one of the churches, a church. And Dale did his writing and made a play called the Belle Patoche. And so he got people to act do the story regarding the Belle Patoche. It was really good, and I was pretty. They actually asked for a fellow to come down who actually looked like Louis Riel, and the guy brought in a black iron ball with a chain on it attached to his ankle. Like I said, he looked like Louis Riel, and I was supposed to be the guard, bringing in Louis Riel. I got a photograph of me in my outfit, That would be nice. Oh, it was hilarious. This is, oh my God, almost 15 years ago, right? And but we did this play, and it was the guy did his presentation as Louis Riel, and did his talk, and as if Riel is saying his last words before he's going to be executed. And yet, what I understood, in the courthouse, Riel was not supposed to talk. He was actually let out after he was sentenced. So, and yet someone says, no, he did say some words because he's going to say no matter what. And he did. So, again, it's either you believe it or you don't believe it. Now, whether they use the words...
anything written by the French, you got to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
this is my perception. They use Riel as a front for as if it were really they were fighting for. He was fighting for the Indigenous people.
Yeah.
It wasn't. He was the Francophone. If you really look to all his, he got some land for the Métis.
Yeah.
That there was, but it wouldn't even stand up in court how they ripped it. Like, and for the First Nations, he just said something about keep the treaties. Like he never got the Indigenous people, and they jumped on. He got French acknowledged, and that's what they want. That's what got him famous.
Yeah.
Except they used him and told implied with false documentation, telling the Métis and the person, oh no, he was there for you. Da, 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 da. And now they want to exonerate him. He gave up. He signed Canada off. And now Canadians going to exonerate?
Mm-hmm.
Like Quebec has passed the law, I guess, already. The thing. I like some of their perception. They got some balls over there, but he was an American citizen.
Yeah. Let's talk about Poundmaker. Like basically, supposedly he was supposed to have helped Riel regarding the resistance, and yet. McDonald actually told Poundmaker to keep his nose out of it, or else that his people would suffer. So Poundmaker backed off, but they did actually arrest him during apparently the Battle of Batoche. They did take him, even though he was not part specifically in the battle.
Yeah, I read something.
And then many years later, like as of now, the last couple of years, he was actually exonerated. And so right now, everybody's asking about Riel, saying, should Riel be exonerated? What is your thoughts?
No. Those 8 Indians that got hung on the 26th of that same month, like, those ones should be exonerated. They should be acknowledged. Riel is an American, like, but that's my perception. Like, he got to ride the high horse, the glory for what Dumont and them did. Like,
yeah, because Dumont was the one that actually tried to get Riel to come back to Canada to help.
He did. He went out because Riel. You got to remember Riel. Before he went to the loony bin in Quebec, he worked in a law office. Yeah, like he could speak French and broken English, but he could write in both languages.
Yeah.
You see, back in them days, people couldn't write. Nobody could really write.
No.
That is what Riel did for the Métis.
Lucky if anybody ever had a grade 2 education.
Mm-hmm. No, but that's why he got recognized for so much. Like even his name wasn't David. Like it was one of his religious experiences that he believed that he was a prophet from God, and that gave him the name David.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like our history's been so bastardized.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so hard, but it's right now, nobody gives 2 cents. All that, they're thinking, oh, what can I get from you? What should you do? Our roots our foundation is so shabby right now that the wind would blow us over.
Yeah.
We got to go back again and unite and stand together.
Uh-huh.
Like, but that MMF, the MNC, right across, those are just government puppets. They're funded to the government.
Yeah.
And they got some pretty good wages.
Oh, big time. Big time.
And they don't do diddly squat for the people.
No, they don't. But they'll.
All the stuff today, all the connections, those are just off social services connections and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they will actually build a COVID-19 internment camp with razor wire and say, we're doing this for you.
The MMF, the one I seen that a while ago, I flashed it a couple times, but it's that COVID is such hilarious, but that's how gullible our people are.
Yeah.
If it's on TV or written in the Bible, it's the holy truth, no questions.
Yeah.
But we've got us to go back to remembering that we got to question everything.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you so much, my friend, that you did a phenomenal job sharing some of the history, and see people need to really keep their mind open on it. So, folks, I want to thank you guys for joining me. And if you guys want to get a hold of Albert Greenough, he's on Facebook. If you want to have a chat with him, he would love to talk to you, I'm sure. And myself, I'm going to be doing my thing every week. And you guys want to find me or write to me, just go contact Metis Matters Radio at gmail.com. Thank you guys for being in the chat room, and those that are actually listening to me. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Be all good with each other. Kaputani na.